Welcome back to An All Seasons Homestead. I'm Joanna, and today I'm going to be filming a pantry tour and sharing things with you that I've preserved and canned from this year's garden. And I have much more to preserve and restock before winter. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Alright, on this side of the pantry, we will start over here. Alright, down here at the bottom is organic cane sugar. This bucket holds about 100 pounds. This bucket is sea salt, holds about 50 pounds. This one also is about 50 pounds, and it is masa for corn tortillas. And all three of these are on rollers, so you can easily move them around to clean behind. Next shelf up, I have some beans, some split peas, lentils, nopales, or cactus. I'd like to can my own one day. These are mainly things that I buy from the store: coconut oil, peanut butter. Next shelf up, I have some popcorn, brown lentils, more split peas and red lentils, chickpeas and garbanzo beans. I have some rolled oats, and these are not the correct date. It just does not want to wash off. I have some flour. Then next shelf up, these are chives from the garden. These are coriander from the garden. I have cloves and black peppercorns. I have some extra salt and sesame seeds. A little bit more garlic powder left. These things are all spices that I usually buy. Sometimes I have my own pepper flakes. I would like to make my own paprika, but these are all things that I just stock up on before winter. I have cinnamon. Here's some bay leaves, basil from the garden. I try to stock up on a lot of baking powder. Here's some echinacea, and here is some dockweed. This is about 2 years old. I have a little bit from this year. I have lime. I use that for water glassing eggs. Next shelf up, I don't have too much. I just have some real salt bags in here. I have some milk strainers in there for when I have a milk goat. Let's see if I go back down here. This is tallow, beef tallow. My sister actually made that for me. In here, I have lard that I rendered last winter. So I have 2 buckets of lard. I have 1 gallon left of water glassed eggs. Here is some homemade apple cider vinegar. Here is my first harvest, not my first harvest ever, but this year's first harvest of our honey. It's about a 50-gallon bucket, has a nice little pouring spout, so I just keep it here on the shelves, bring a mason jar underneath it and fill it up. Makes it pretty simple. If I go down underneath that shelf, I have extra vinegar. I have some quick oats that I need to buy a container for. In this bucket, we keep our jamaica, or some people call it hibiscus. Get it open. There we go. Hibiscus flowers. We buy these in bulk. Then I also have chili de árbol. I guess they're dried serrano peppers. This is all from last year. We go through a lot of these in winter. I have not done this year's yet. Then this bucket is just a regular tote, but it holds my flour, and it holds about 100 pounds. And I would really like to find something else to put it in possibly another container like that, so it's more food grade. I've never had problems with moisture or bugs, but it works fine for now. Back up here to the top, I have cranberry sauce, apple sauce, pear sauce. Then I also have plum sauce. Then I have sliced pears and halves pears, light syrup and heavy syrup. And then this year I found a really good deal for half bushels of peaches. So I've done a lot of sliced peaches and half peaches, and then I did some peach preserve. Then I have, this is last year's cabbage. It's just an easy way to can extra cabbage. Last year I had many heads, I think about 90 heads of cabbage, so I had to preserve them somehow. I don't really like the flavor, but it did work well for soup. So I just have a few left of those for this year. And then these couple of rows are pickles from this year. These are pickles from last year. So I have quite a few of pickles. Let's see, back down here where the honey is. I also made cranberry juice. We love cranberry juice. So I buy a bunch of cranberries around the holidays and I just make cranberry juice. That is last year's pumpkin. I have not got enough pumpkin yet this year. There's some carp canned. Then here is elderberry juice. This is from dried elderberries, and this is fresh elderberry. So there's quite a difference in color. And it already has the cinnamon stick and cloves and everything that you would want to take as a vitamin C booster, except it does not have the honey. I always put the honey in after I pop it open. This is all the black beans and pinto beans that I have left, but I usually do chicken broth and beans in the middle of winter because I just use dried beans. So that will be coming in a couple more months. But chicken broth, that still looks like a lot, but we use it and can it, use it and can it. Mostly in the winter, like I said, but I do some here and there, so it's just like a continuous supply of chicken broth. This year, my tomatoes have been very beautiful and have given me many quarts and pints of tomato sauce. And I usually don't do things like spaghetti sauce and different flavors. I just do a lot of simple tomatoes and salt, and then whatever recipe that I need, I will just add the ingredients and the spices. It's according to what I'm using it for. It just makes it a little easier, and then I don't have to like read the tops when I go grab something. It's just they're all they're all tomato sauce or tomato juice. Then this little corner is all I have left from last year's salsa. This is all new salsa. It's oven roasted salsa, and I tried a orange tomato mango salsa this year. I still have a little bit more salsa to can also. Okay, and all of these green beans are from this year, as well as the corn. I usually don't can corn in quarts. Just find it fits our needs in pints. I had very little carrot. We used a lot of fresh carrots, but that's all I have canned for carrots. This usually stays pretty empty on these shelves because it's where I put my empty jars. So after we use something, it's just a place to store all of the jars. And I'll put my canners back in here after canning season. So there's not too much on those. Over here, we have sliced jalapenos, whole jalapenos, carrots, onions, and jalapenos pickled. Some quart jalapenos. Then this is all tomatillo salsa. This is ketchup. I'm pretty proud of the ketchup this year. And this is hot sauce. Then down here we have our potatoes. Several varieties of potatoes. We have red potatoes, Pontiac potatoes, Yukon potatoes. I always sort them out: large, medium, and small. We've used actually most of our large potatoes, but we have another round in the garden. This is a little drying shelf. We usually use it just for butternut squash and sweet potatoes. That is a sweet potato left from last year. I have not harvested this year's sweet potatoes yet. And then onions. I have used almost all of our onions. I did not have a good onion harvest this year. But what I did harvest are canned with the jalapenos or with the salsa. I almost forgot to add at the top shelf, there are many quarts of tomato sauce. So I have about 60 some pints of tomato sauce and about 70 quarts of tomato sauce, and I have some in the upstairs pantry also. There's some dried dill, a few more onions left. Those are dried marigolds. A couple of years ago I had some fruit flies in here, and I think it was a couple of old potatoes. I got rid of the potatoes, I cleaned the basket, and I hung dried marigolds, and the fruit flies disappeared. There's the dried chili peppers, the chili de árbol. I think that's some mint. But yeah, I think that's about it until I start harvesting the rest of the potatoes, and I think I have some more tomatoes coming. And we'll see what else I can get before the first frost date. Oh, and another thing I will show you in the next room. So right outside the pantry I have this hutch. And this is where we keep our jellies and jams and preserves. I have red bud jelly, dandelion jelly, blackberry preserve. I have plum jelly, or plum preserves, I guess. This one was strawberry, and I have more strawberry down here. And then here's the peaches with vanilla. It's one of our favorites. Here's my little dehydrator. I have basil in here right now. And then here's some of the herbs that I dry out. Well, I have celery salt. I have echinacea in the other room that I need to put out here. Chamomile, chives. I have some mint, calendula, raspberry leaves, lamb's quarter. I have red clover, blackberry leaves, more echinacea, red bud flowers. This is chicory root that I need to finish roasting so I can put a lid on it. And lavender. So I kind of use this area just to dry things and keep things out of my way, or when I don't have much room in the kitchen. And also we have white corn that's already dried out. I need to get that ready for homemade tortillas. In the freezer, I also have many gallons of sliced bell peppers. I still have some more jalapenos. I have broccoli, and I have green beans, and I have a little bit more elderberry that I need to process and turn into juice so I can can it. It's just easier if you freeze it first. The berries fall right off of the stems. And then of course we have our meats, like our chicken and our beef and some deer, things like that. Also, when I buy the cranberries, I buy them in bulk, and then like I said, I juice them or turn them into cranberry sauce. So that's all in the freezer. And I actually need to do a freezer deep clean to get ready for this year's winter. We already have our chickens in there, so that's going to be a little difficult to clean around. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me.